Brace yourself. Better pass up anytime now. Collect yourself. Things will never be the same in a sad, sad world. Walk around the light a bit, trying to make the pieces fit to a puzzle with a million missing pieces. When I'm feeling fine is when I discover that I'm afraid to blow my cover, and there's something very wrong with this. So slip back in your hole.
So, good morning. Today we continue our journey through the aftermath of the Iliad. Find out what happens. How does the Trojan War saga come to its conclusion? It's a wild day yesterday. Try to imagine your Priam or the Trojans after yesterday. So you're already consumed with grief and ready to give up hope. And then, oh my goodness, here come the Amazons. We're saved. Only we're not saved because Achilles cuts down the Amazons. And then here come the Ethiopians. Memnon, king of Ethiopia, son of... So I was reviewing the tape yesterday. So I screwed up two things in introducing Memnon to you. First, I'm sure you knew what I meant when I said he was the daughter of the goddess Eos. He was the son of the goddess Eos. And I called the goddess Eos goddess of the sun, which isn't wrong, but isn't particular enough. She is the dawn. She is the goddess of the rising sun. The sun itself is a dude, Helios, but the rising thereof is a lady, Eos, because myth. But the Achaeans have some reason for frustration, too. Reason for celebration, sure, but the wall hasn't gotten any thinner, and it hasn't gotten any less magic. Remember, it's a magic wall. It was built by Apollo and Poseidon. They can't tear it down. So unless they can get the Trojans to surrender, it's all been for nothing. But the Trojans aren't going to surrender because the Achaeans' goal is to destroy Troy. So, why would you ever surrender to that? So it's like, even if they starve out the whole population, the whole population's dead bodies will still be locked behind the walls of Troy with all the gold. So we're at a bit of a stalemate, though definitely wins upon wins for the Achaeans lately. Let's find out what happens next. As yesterday, the excerpts from ancient sources are in white print on your screen, and the crap from me is in yellow print. We'll be hearing mostly, again, from Quintus Murnaeus, post-Homerica. Also hear a little bit from the Iliad itself, from Apollodorus' Bibliotheca, and from Ovid's Metamorphoses. So, when Memnon's wiped out.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Teachers, please do a uniform check. Anyone not in uniform, please make sure you're documenting in here when sending down to the main office. Students, you should be in class. If you are not in class, you currently are tardy. So please make sure you're checking in the cafeteria. Again, all students should be in class at this point. If you are not in class, you are tardy. So please make sure you're checking in the cafeteria. Teachers, please make sure you're doing a uniform check. Any students not in uniform, please send them down to the main office. Thank you and have a great day.
Have I died and gone to hell? Is that what that announcement was? All right, so in the battle with the Ethiopians, yes, the Achaeans triumphed, but not before suffering some pretty serious losses. And Antiochus, the son of Nestor, is probably the most prominent of those killed by Memnon and his troops. His mother Eos, the goddess of the dawn, of course, she's in mourning for Memnon, so she transforms all the surviving Ethiopian troops into birds. If you can follow the logic, I did say so in the middle of the sentence, so it is presented as cause and effect, but mostly just that's how myth works. And so now all the Ethiopian troops are birds, and I don't know if they're happy to be birds. One must assume they are happy to be birds. One must assume that she wasn't punishing them. One must also assume that Priam ain't so happy that all of his allies' troops are now birds. With the light of dawn enthroned in splendor, Antilochus' body was carried to the ships by the spearmen of Pylos, loudly lamenting their lord. As they buried him there on the shores of the Hellespont, great was their grief, and round them groaned the sturdy sons of Argos, all possessed by bitter sorrow, and showing respect for Nestor, although his spirit was not broken. Truly the heart of a wise man is able to suffer sorrow courageously and not be overwhelmed by it. Rage for his friend Antilochus made the son of Peleus terrible as he armed against the Trojans. But they, in spite of their fear of Achilles of the ashwood spear, poured out eagerly from their gates, because their breasts were filled with courage by the fates. For many of them would soon descend to Hades' house of no return at the hands of Achilles. Well, thanks a lot, the fates. Quickly from either side on common ground converged the tribes of Trojans and of Argives, firm in the fray, eager for fighting now that the battle was set in motion. There the son of Peleus destroyed a mighty host of his foes. All round the life-giving earth was drenched with blood, and the waters of Scamander and Simois were choked with corpses. Achilles still pursued and slaughtered all the way to the city, since panic possessed the enemy. When they came from steep Walusa, Achilles would have killed them all and dashed their gates to the ground, tearing them from their hinges. What can I do for you, Dr. Floyd? Okay, thank you. When they came from steep Walusa, Achilles would have killed them all and dashed their gates to the ground, tearing them from their hinges, or would have smashed the bolts with a sideward blow and opened a way for the Danaans into Priam's city, and would have plundered its wealth, if anger had not filled the merciless heart of Apollo at the sight of those countless throngs of warriors slaughtered. Down from Olympus he came with the speed of a savage beast. Over his shoulders his quiver was filled with deadly arrows. Facing Achilles he stood, while on his back loudly rattled his bow in its case, and from his eyes came constant flashes of fire. The ground shook under his feet. The great god gave a terrible shout to deter Achilles from the battle for fear of the supernatural voice of a god, and so to save the Trojans from being killed.
Back off, son of Peleus, away from the Trojans. No longer may you inflict the evil fates upon your foes, or one of the deities of Olympus may destroy you.
But Achilles did not quail at the immortal god's voice. Already the merciless fates were hovering over him. So without respect for the god, he shouted back at him, Apollo, why do you rouse me against my will to fight against gods in order to save the arrogant Trojans? Once before you tricked and decoyed me from the fighting, the first time you rescued Hector from death, the man the Trojans exalted so highly in their city. Back off now, far away, and join the rest of the gods at home, or I will strike you, immortal that you are. With that he left the deity far behind, pursuing the Trojans who were still in flight before the city. Hiding his presence in the cloud, Apollo came to the Trojan lines. There, in the midst of the general carnage, he noticed Paris. Appalling Paris, our prince of beauty. Mad for women, he lures them all to their ruin. Paris was shooting lazily at Greek soldiers. The god revealed who he was and said to him,
Why are you wasting your shafters on the rank and file? If you care at all for your family, target Achilles and take revenge for your slaughtered brethren.
If you're watching on YouTube, keep watching through the 2 videos that follow in the playlist. Lights, please.